people, same places, same parties. Am I just a ghost at night? Too many street lights in this city, I'm missing our ocean side. I've been running, but I can't escape the feeling that I've been away for far too long. 'Cause there's something about our love that brings me peace of mind. Something special about the way our lives are intertwined. There's something about you that just leaves me mystified. Something pulling me to your heart, and I always want you by my side. Keep your body next to mine. New people, new places, we're the same. A moment frozen in time. Wish I could relive the day I met you and fall in love a second time. I could
Oh, you know, there's an upside to streaming every day, or relatively consistently, and that is you remember things that you need to do this time that you didn't do last time. This time I remembered everything except the camera. Because my starting screen does not have a camera, because it doesn't need a camera. And so I forgot to lift the little flap. Hello! Welcome to Thursday lunchtime. I have eaten lunch. I am now here for games. No, not for games. Programming. Now, after yesterday's stream, I decided, okay, I need to actually display the current song playing. So I installed Tuner, which is this extension right here. Yeah. Now, the problem I've run into is in this Spotify tab, I can paste the authentication code in fine. The request token button, which should give me the token to put into this field, causes OBS to silently crash. I don't think it likes interacting with Microsoft Edge. I have a feeling that's what it is, and so I might have to set my default to Chrome just to set this up. But that's a task for later. I am going to quickly resume some musics. So it's still approaching Nirvana. That has not changed. So the plan today. Well, okay, let's start from yesterday, right? Because yesterday we did two things, right? What I'm looking for? I'm looking for this guy here. Yesterday we made this change where we removed the Windows check on here because we verified that Control-R does work on Linux and that Command-R can work on macOS, you just need to have the right modifier. So we did that successfully on stream and submitted it. The second thing we worked on stream was keyboard interaction. We added a bunch of logging to get information about how browser panels treat hotkeys and how browser sources treat hotkeys. And after some finagling, we got enough information to get standard letters working and all the numbers and numpad and home and end and all of those working, except for the modifiers, Shift, Control, Command, and Alt. After stream, I spent a little bit more time on it and realized that after setting the modifiers, or the modifiers were being set using the wrong field, and so I fixed that and verified that I was successfully able to use modifier keys. And this is the end result. It turns out that previously, if we look here, on everything other than Linux and Windows, we were using native modifiers. Native modifiers is gibberish when it comes to comparing what Qt receives and what Ceph wants. So instead, we use the modifiers, which are actually specialized OBS keys, but they match what macOS wants, and actually it matches what Windows wants. So my guess is that to some extent, Qt provides a similarity between what Windows and macOS do, which means all I had to do here was tell it, hey, if it's Windows or macOS, let's use event modifiers rather than native modifiers. And then native scan code is gibberish as well. I think it always returns 1, which is not useful. However, native vkey is the actual native key code we were looking for. And so we had to make sure that this native key code did not get replaced later down the line here with native scan code, because we don't want native scan code. And voila! It now all works. So I'm going to quickly open up my... not that one. I'm going to open up macOS over here. I'm going to quickly open OBS here. I was doing a display capture test for a new PR, which is naming the displays, which works, which is good. But the thing that matters here is if we go into rack here, and I hit shift, it's shift. I hit tab, it's tab. Caps lock doesn't do anything, but I don't think it's supposed to. Fine. There's the back quote, there's escape. I'm going to turn off numlock here. All of these work as described, including arrow keys and individual letters. So now we have 2 very small but useful quality of life things, especially as we added the source toolbar, which adds the ability to interact directly like this, right? So that's yesterday. And that's everything that we intended to work on yesterday unintentionally, successfully working, which is what I like to hear. So today, after seeing the pull request, let me actually... we need to minimize this. This pull request here, update display names to be human readable. So this is the one that I was testing earlier. And basically it changes the numbers in there to actual names. Now because I don't know macOS, I never would have gotten this working on macOS anyway. Apparently you need to use availability macros, which gives you this, I assume, and this Objective-C is gibberish to me. But this does seem to work, so I've commented that it works. But after testing this, I was like, okay, they wrote, this works on other platforms already. Not quite. It used to work on Windows, but because I screwed up when it comes to UTF-8 and wide characters, it had to be reverted, unfortunately. So this is my PR from back in the day, from March 2020, where I was able to get it to work in some situations, but if you launched it in debug, it was gibberish. Projectors had display names, and I think they still do. Yep. That's good. On Windows, it does still display those. Display capture does not on Windows, so that's the first one. On Linux, we can actually verify whether it still works, but I checked on Mac, and let's quickly launch CD, OBS build, OBS Studio, build. I'm going to quickly duplicate this tab. I'm going to render, rel2, bin 6, launch OBS. We right click here and go full screen projector. It does still have the correct monitor name, which is what we want. But I don't think if we add a screen capture XSHM source, it just says screen DP1. Okay. We might experiment with that today, see if it can give us anything more, because the challenge is usually Qt related. So if we know Linux works in projectors, not in window capture, that's fine. But on Mac, if I do the same thing, and we right click here, then you can see it just says display 1, which means it wasn't able to get the name of the display. Which is weird, because if we look at my pull request from March last year, there's Projectors macOS, and it did get Color LCD and my monitor. So something happened between then and now. And what did happen is we updated our dependency of Qt. And what you'll notice is if we look at these commits, show monitor names for projectors, and we go down to here, so this is the add projector menu monitors. So this loops through your screens, grabs the names, and displays them. On Windows, we use a Windows API for it. That's fine. On macOS, we use screen name, which used to give it. And then on Qt version 5.9 and above, on every other platform, we try to get the model simplified. And my guess is screen name no longer returns what we want on macOS. It's more likely that screen model gives us what we need on macOS now. So the first thing we're going to try doing is getting rid of this check. I'm going to quickly OBS Studio. So this is going to be the Linux shared Linux macOS build folder. In this case, we need the window basic main file. We're going to go to screencaster mode, and we're looking for this guy. So you can see if defined, Apple. So to save the trouble, we're going to do our usual and we're going to do, this is screen number 1, right? And we want screen 1, and that is the name. Screen name. Screen model. Dot simplify. And now that we have name and model, we're also going to do a quick look up here. QScreen. Actually, no. Making sure I haven't missed anything. Nothing important. Sweet. So, we know we get model and name. The model was introduced in 5.9. There is manufacturer, so we're gonna do that one too. And I know that we have... We need... We have nice macros that help us translate from Qt to something a little more readable. It should work, theoretically. And then all we have to do is build it. We're going to pull up this guy. I'm making it easier for myself today. We're gonna go build. Okay. So building on Linux first. And we will also build... Let's quickly check that I closed OBS on macOS, because I don't remember. Why did I drop 200 frames? Why is my frame rate dipping then? We closed OBS. Fine. Ooh, nice. We're gonna build. On the left here. Linux successfully built, and now we're waiting for... Quite a few warnings in OBS VST, huh? Interesting. Depending on what we manage to get from this, this will either be a very easy fix, or it won't be fixable at all. Oh. Alright, we're gonna lower my bitrate today. Because my computer is downloading something, but I don't know what, because this has no active downloads. Does this have active downloads? No, it doesn't. Something is doing something behind the scenes. Oh well. Let's get this copied over. How are we looking? Everything's still online and working. This is good. Alright, let's do this. Now if we write, we're going to pull up the log. Current log. Screen 0, name blank, model blank, manufacturer blank. So the question becomes, is it because of this thing? What we're going to do is, this switch res X thing doesn't work the way I was hoping it would, so let's quickly try and remove this thing. Because I tried to get it to work with a larger resolution, but it doesn't like it, it just doesn't recognize the resolution. It says not active, invalid? No, it's valid! You just don't like it. Now, the problem is, because I'm not a macOS guy, I have no idea how to uninstall this, so we're gonna have to Google it. What's it called? Switch res X. Simply choose uninstall in the menu. Okay, helper tools uninstalled. Ah, it's up here. Yes. Do I need to reboot for my changes to be reflected? Let's find out. OBS. Okay. Let's reboot the Mac and see what happens. I'll have to remount everything, but that's fine. I know my screen's being observed. I'm the one observing it. It'll be back momentarily. In the meantime, we now know that none of these three actually give us anything. At least with that Twitch Res X installed. I have to remount my shared folder. And then we're going to launch OBS. Still says display 1. That's unfortunate. Are there any other variables we could use? Model name, native orientation, refresh rate, serial number. I guess we could try it and see what happens. Alright, let's build it. To reconnect to the Mac though. Just checking my dropped frames, still at 400, we're fine. Because we rebooted, we have to actually re-download dependencies, which is fine. Let's grab dependencies. Oh, also I fixed the volume on my alerts, so they should be full volume now, rather than sneakily quiet. I'm hoping I'll get music overlay working for my next stream, which might be tomorrow, it might be sometime on the weekend. We shall see. nothing else I can use here. If name is blank, then I'm stuck. So if this doesn't work, we go back to Windows and we start getting display capture stuff working again. So essentially what I will be doing is we're going to ignore this part. We're going to go to this guy. I now understand... Well, actually... this is where it gets tricky. We'll have to double check when this was reverted. I might not actually revisit. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't want to deal with it. I don't have the mental capacity to deal with that at the moment, so maybe we'll look at some of my other PRs. So this one's fine. This one should not require any changes in the moment. Correct. Maybe we could revisit launch jump lists. So jump lists are this cool thing where when you right click here you have a section called tasks. And you can basically launch the program with a new thing, right? So in this case, say I want a new command prompt window. And I just click here and voila, right? Command prompt window. And that can be for anything, right? This guy has, I've pinned macOS and the Nook. This one's just a Python scripting thing. And here we've got pre-sent files, folders. So the one I put together was launch with replay buffer, virtual camera, minimized to tray, and always on top. I'm going to reread some of these comments to see what people suggest. This got closed, and I think it was because of feedback. Okay, not necessary. That's fine. Yep, so we'll look at the feedback and we will think about. I'm trying to determine whether the best plan would be changing it completely or just rebasing it, make sure it still works. This also feels noisy. I didn't like it in the first place. Take a quick look at the launch parameters in OBS, because they would have changed a bit. Launch in portable, launch in multi, disable updater, unfiltered log. So basically, start streaming, recording, virtual cam, replay button. And the thing is, I don't like the idea of all of these having the word launch or launch with. And then there is this one, which I do not currently have the motivation to work I do have a branch that I've been keeping updated. So look here, I did recently rebase. I was working on a replay buffer error, but I cannot for the life of me figure out why it's doing what it's doing. So I've basically given up on that for now. I rebased this one, which basically on a high DPI display, the volume meters get pixelated because it's basically, it renders it at 100% and then tries to stretch it out, which does not look good. So I want to try and render it at like double and then make it smaller, which should give us more quality to work with. And the first step to that was using QReal instead of pixels. But it didn't actually make a spot of difference at all. And I'm not quite sure why. So I've basically ditched that for now. macOS permission checks. We're going to actually wait on a bigger pull request from Pat to be merged first. Author Pat. This build system one. It completely reworks how we use CMake. Adds 12,000 lines and removes 10,000 lines. Across 8 commits. It's very well written. It's very well tested. Got a lot of feedback, which is good. Apparently it's still marked as in progress, but it also changes our build flow, so it splits it off into separate actions. The reason for that, if we go into detail here, and you go here, it actually gives you a little graph to go, hey, code format check, allowed these to run, and the macOS build completed, but there was no reason to notarize it. The Windows one completed, but did not build a Windows installer. And I think the Windows installer one is a no-op at the moment. But once that's merged, we do plan on making changes for the installer. I would like to see these file names changed. They should at least have a commit hash on the tag. So once that's merged, stuff like a macOS permission dialog will be something we work. And then I'm still waiting on this. I don't expect this to provide any extra insight. And then custom doc title bar is something that I've worked on and off. The problem is it doesn't work with themes, so you'd have to rebuild it completely. So the main reason we wanted it was so that you can right-click and right-click on a doc to, sorry, not right-click, so that you can click on a reload button at the top of the doc, or, you know, to reintroduce the little gear in the doc header for, say, advanced audio properties. Unfortunately, Qt styling docs is terrible, and you basically have to start from scratch, and I'm not a designer, and I don't want to have to deal with that. And then browser transitions, I kind of started a bit of this in December 2019, but I don't know what I'm doing, so it's just sitting there. Advanced Stinger audio, the ability to control Stinger volume. I did get some feedback from some people on how it should work. I just haven't had the motivation to improve what I've done so far. So, also untouched. I do have the longest to-do list of stuff that I'd like to do. One, new current log. Yeah, the serial is empty too. Alright. I guess we're not doing anything with that then. Monitors are a nightmare. All of this. So at least we know it's not this code that's freaking out. It's literally... what else do we have? Screenshot prefix suffix. That's going to become an actual, like, proper section of save path. So, currently, you can only set the actual output directory of recordings, but the goal is separate output folder for recordings, screenshot, and replay, because that would be very useful. My recording save dialog has The initial version just shows a success dialog, and then the reworked one, the goal is to list your recent recordings, which requires either checking the output folder for recordings or storing a list ourselves of recent recordings, which I think ShareX does. So this is ShareX, for those who don't know. Screenshot program, and when you open it, it shows the history of the last 10 screenshots you've taken, and then if I take a new screenshot, it appends that on the end. Maybe we check my documents folder and see what this file looks like, because that would be worth looking at. Documents, ShareX, history.json. There we go. Alright, Mr. Jason, what do you have? The name, the path, when, the type, where it tried to upload it, and the URL it uploaded it. Notice how this has a full history, not just the last 10. So the most recent one is the one we just took, and it was not uploaded anywhere, so the host is empty. Whereas when we uploaded text files yesterday, they were uploaded. And this history file has stuff up to early last year. So that's a almost 1 megabyte JSON file. And this keeps 100 logs. Or I just have 100 log files. That's funny. I've been using ShareX since 2012. 6.5 on Windows 7. Yep, December 2012. And actually, we can probably verify that by going into the screenshots folder and sorting backwards, right? December 2012. Voila. How do you know it was Christmas? This. Okay, so... Cool, so we know that doesn't work. One's still a work in progress. I'm happy with where it is at the moment. I might rebase it, or I did rebase it, so it'll be fine. Yeah, I was reworking it based on Johan's suggestions. So, my most recent fun feature, an undo history doc, which might just get renamed to history, because that's what apps like Photoshop do. They just call it history. One thing I do want to play around with, and this isn't actually going to be submitted as a pull request, but icons in the window capture list. So here's what we're going to do. On latest master, open Visual Studio. Oh no, someone just posted in the plugins and tools channel with an Intel Celeron running Windows 7. They're not going to get as far as they hope with what they're trying to do. And then the other thing we'll check is I know that there are no pull requests specifically that need to be merged. I wouldn't mind merging these 3. The first one is fractional if defs, because fractional scaling, so device pixel ratio F, not YouTube, QT, was introduced in 5.6. And we should be 5.9 at the minimum, officially. Yeah, 5.9 Ubuntu 18.04. FreeBSD and Arch. I appreciate that they... I don't like them in general, but I appreciate that they have a nice recent version of Qt. Yeah. 1604 is no longer supported. 5.9 on 1804. But pretty much, I think I could safely merge this. If I will test this on my Ubuntu setup, but that's about it. As long as it runs, then we're fine, and that just means less code. In terms of this one, I think it's fine. I don't know if it's necessary if we're doing the whole rewrite of CMake. I'm just leaving it for now. And then this one adds support for Chrome 91. And all it does is it changes product version to user agent product. Which is fine. It just means that I would prefer it to be compatible with the Chrome versions we currently have, while also being future conscious. So just the basic this would be good, and if they don't do it today, then I'll just do it myself. Alright, let's build this. And that's all the browser pull requests that I currently am considering merging. This one requires more testing and review. So this one gives us a drop down on browser sources to allow it to have more control. So at the moment, you have not even start stop replay buffer. It can save a replay buffer, but that is the only thing it supports. So you get, you've got get current scene, get status, and save replay buffer. So this adds a bunch of functions, which should be great. Unfortunately, they only work in browser sources and not browser panels, but with access levels, which is really neat. And this is done really neatly. Something we've wanted to do for a while, and this gives web developers a little more freedom in how they develop tools for OBS, because when it comes to developing stuff for OBS, you either need to know C or C++, or your users need to know how to add a Lua script, including any potential dependencies, or they need to install Python 3.6, which is fine. It's just not a great user experience. And JavaScript is very common now, so having a way to do more with the browser would be really neat. So, the reason we opened this was to... Don't remember what it was. Either way, we now have a running OBS instance here. And I think my mic is delayed again. So let's fix that. Don't like when it does that. Oh, there we go, the Patreon list is working now. This wasn't working for me yesterday. Just didn't appear. Hey, I'm now in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm in the top 9. There's Pat. He's done a lot recently. His PR is going to bump him pretty high, in my guess. That'll be cool. Oh, why is that all the way down here in my video? I don't think this text needs to be this large. This feels unnecessarily large. Oh, I do also have a branch to fix this old logo being visible on here. Should we look at some of my other stale branches to see if there's something worth working on? Let's do that. Let's find my oldest branch. That sounds like it would be an interesting... Stale branches. Can I sort this? Updated 2 years ago. Updated 16 months ago. Okay. Extra menu item. Keyboard shortcuts. Open the wiki. Remove exit button. Dynamic scenes doc title. I wish we had this, but I understand why we don't. Tools. I tried to figure out how to add hotkeys to certain things. Don't know how to. Transform scale V1 is from 16 months ago. Oh, I should work on my splash thing at some stage too. I did try to use Q translation as a fallback, and that didn't really work out. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. Basically, in this particular situation, if you switch languages to, say, another language, and we... Oh, you know what I could do? Let's not worry about other platforms for the moment. So here's OBS in Polish, right? Now the challenge you run into is if you have a color source and you choose color, all of this is in English. Other than the OK and cancel buttons. Which... Basically, we could either add our own translations, or we use Q translator and use the built-in languages, which means having 2 translators installed. Is that we'd need to repackage Qt's translation files. And the other problem is all their documentation is QMake related, which we do not use and we are never going to use. And this is from 2017, so I don't even know if this is useful to us. This just says assets. I don't even know how to correctly pull in the official translations. So I've basically left that. Maybe I'll revisit it someday. I put together a script that builds an Apex for OBS for the Microsoft Store. Not even sure if that's going to be necessary with the upcoming new store. We will see, I guess. I don't like that someone posted a link to knitter.42l.fr. I'm deleting that just because I don't recognize that URL. Knitter is a new front end for Twitter that helps hide you from advertising. Yeah, no. Doesn't sound like something I want. And there's our recording save dialogue. Legacy QT checks. I did have this guy. This is my remove legacy fractional scaling stuff that I did myself. It was not necessary, or wouldn't be necessary going forward. It's something we could technically remove if we needed to. It's an option. So yeah, nothing really stands out and stuff in terms of stuff I actually want to work on today, which is a challenge I run into all the time. So we're going to bump my thing here. See if there's something on my to-do list that I'd like to do. Logging show and hide transitions. So the issue at the moment is you go log file. We list the scene, the source, and any filters, but we don't list the show and hide transitions. Because of that, some users get confused when describing what they're doing. And being able to go in here and go show, hide, to know what transitions they actually have set. And maybe we could look into that. I don't know what our hide transition API looks like, so let's do that. Browser. Okay, here we go. OBS scene item set show transition. Get show transition. Get. So we've got set show transition, set hide transition. Get show transition, get hide transition. That's fine. So now we're going to go to... Pop this on the right side so that I've got it in front of me while I do this.
I am wandering in the deep dark.
Yeah, that, and we're gonna do this one. Well, we're kind of gonna do this one, but with the additional spacing of this one. Right. We're gonna do name T. Yep. And then we're gonna do the same thing. Hide transition. We can always clean up the readability of this later. Step one is actually getting it to print anything. Do we not release this later? Alright, we'll check the log to make sure that we did not incorrectly forget to... Me 2 years ago. Log group items. How did I know to use this guy? Ah, because of this guy. Okie dokie. My format document thing didn't work, which is a bummer. But that's fine. We can just open it in here and do the same thing. Advanced format document. Oh, I see what happened. That's my typos. That's more like it. Now we just run it. Oh, this gets the source, not the item. That's what we need. My cat is very stretched out right now. Sleeping. Oh, I forgot to switch to English. So what this tells me is I have no source transitions. Alright. There we go. So, it set a fade transition, and it even sets the name of this, which is weird because if you rename the source, that'll change the name of the source, and if you switch languages, it won't. This does work. Oh, hi there! I've jumped into the Discord if you want to join me. Again, no pressure, like yesterday. But now we have logging of show hide transitions. Let me do one in English to make sure that... Let's do a swipe left. Hide, swipe right. How's your day going, Dylan? Log files, view current log. Window capture, show transition, hide transition. Swipe. Ah, exciting. I'm not sold on using the name because the name means diddly squat. Only. That's not too bad. One in the morning, one for lunch, and one before dinner. Or more like one at 3 AM, one at 7 AM, one at 10 AM? Yeah, 3 is better than 6. I agree. That's good. Now the thing I do want to check is log files. Zero memory leak. Do I not have to release an OBS source? In this case, I'm getting the transition. And what I'm also learning is I don't have to do this. No worries. I think my best bet is just moving these guys in here and getting rid of the unnecessary variables. Whoops. Usually if it takes this long, it means I've missed something. There we go. Alright. I'm thinking of moving this child indent up and then just using it here and here. But we also need to add a group, because I don't think I have any groups in this test collection. Oh, that's what I was going to do. Icons. Test nesting contains a source which contains show hide transition. Sweet. So if I move this guy up here. I see why I don't. Okay, never mind. They would actually end up with more code than necessary.
Think I need an exorcist right now.
Yeah, no. No, you don't. These columns are too short. I don't like it. Now I assume we log when a new transition is added to a scene item. I would hope. We don't. We don't log users adding transitions to sources. We don't log adding scene transitions either, so that's probably fine. Alright. Alright, well let's submit this little PR. A tiny PR. Create a branch. Log. Hide. Transition. Which is longer, show/hide or visibility? Show hide is shorter. Show. Hide. Excellent. Now here's my favorite little feature, right? Right click, create pull request on origin. And it doesn't work! Basically, I'm better off just going to the pull request section, which gives me this guy. I click compare pull request. Because it assumes origin is master is wizard CM, which is wrong. Right, so...
talk about another kind of world.
Scenes, sources, filters, and monitoring.
I'm lost in old ways. I'm not free. Well, here goes nothing.
Really, when you look at this log, this text here is completely meaningless. It's this one that you're going to be looking at.
What are you afraid of?
Like, obviously, window capture has a show transition.
Lost in old ways. I'm not free. Just listen.
I'll leave it for feedback. Yeah, that looks good to me. Poor Jim. We just never leave him be, huh? Alright, so the thing I actually wanted to try out, I have no idea if this is something that is viable at all. You know, I wouldn't mind a little thingy up here for my music. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Just like that, right? That's fun, right? Now, it will look weird when I do this, right? Oh no, because it's a fade! Excellent. And then do I put it along here, maybe? Or do I put my voice along here? Probably my voice, right? Add... Spectralizer. Mic. Okay, so now if I talk, I will perfect this later. But for now, I can basically go, okay, actually my voice is not in this range. And we can also trim off a bit on the right there. And then we bump the size of this guy. Ta-da! Not sure I like it. We will keep it for a bit and see if it works out. But I'm definitely seeing a delay. So... Okay, so my mic should be back now. And voila. Okay. I'm going to switch back to this scene now, which has music. Right here. I do think maybe I could stretch it out. Why does the left side look like it has more... Hang on. Alright, we need to change the scaling. I'm not sure that's better. We'll keep it like that for now. Oh, it also turns down when I talk. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that makes it less useful than I thought it would be. Alright, we'll leave it for now and see what happens. Right, so we're back on master. Let's quickly rebuild it. Who was it that requested it? Oh, doesn't matter. In terms of window capture, this is hard to read. So what I want to actually do, I'm going to look at two different things. A list is done via combo box. At least as far as I know. So, So items can have a Q icon. The Q icon can just be file name or a prefix map. Property, name, value. And these are window help. Get class name W. Oh, and actually also, can we quickly... Just checking to see if there are any windows that don't need to be visible in this list. But everything looks good. We've been maintaining it. We're fine.
There is something so wrong, and lately I
Get
don't
class
know
long.
what to do. Picture perfect, but I'm dying, and I know you feel it too. When did we both get so still? Give me something real. I need an eternal shot. Make me feel what I forgot. Baby, got the will. We are road warriors, free and notorious. Shut up and drive. Ride or die till the end. For it, kiss me again. Shut up and drive.
Retrieves a handle to the icon.
Shut up and drive. Shut up and drive. You and I. Just shut up and drive.
Is iconic. Is it iconic? Tell me.
Shut up and shut up and just shut up and drive. No more pretending, shiny picket fence left in the dust.
This is so me. H icon or slash H bitmap to Q icon slash Q pixmap slash Q image slash anything with a Q in it. You read my mind. What's his name? Who? Eggs 0. 8 years ago. Create DC from handle. Create bitmap. Create compatible bitmap. I don't want a utility function. Okay. Crap. Too hard. I thought I could attempt it. I could not. As neat as that would be. But I really don't like how hard this is to read, right? Prison. You know what we're actually going to do? This is something I've been meaning. Show settings folder. Yeah. We're going to do this on all three platforms. OBS video. I do have to copy the stuff over. I thought so. Okay. I thought that might be the case. I just needed a way to confirm. Basically, it's reusing icons from Dark. Oh yeah, the source toolbar needs a bit of fixing. Alright, so that's on Windows. Another user is controlling your desktop. Yes, me. Oh, also, check this out. Oh no, it's fine here. That's weird. On macOS, the VNC cursor does not appear unless I add a display capture source in OBS. Where are the dock controls? The down arrow here looks weird because it's disabled. That definitely needs some work. Also, what's going on with this close button? Is that an issue on Windows as well? Yeah, that's fine on Windows, great. That's gotta be fun. I feel like this needs to be rounded like this is. I also don't like how dark this section is. It stands out how dark it is. This gap is too large. Yeah, the context menus need styling. They don't have the same padding as everything else. Oh no, that's a lot of raiders. Hi Strager, how's it going? Hello, welcome raiders. You've come at a time where I'm just experimenting with a theme that is a currently open pull request for OBS. How is everybody? How was the stream? How did I get this shirt? Well, by working at the OBS booth at TwitchCon in 2019, that's how. More OBS merch would be nice. I'd wear it. TJP Santiago, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the order. Yep, you've caught me on a day where I'm not actually doing much, so that's fun. Evantech, welcome to the order. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, I've just been looking at pull requests mostly. Experimenting with little things. Trying to see if I can get anything to actually do something that I want it to do. I do have a to-do list of stuff I'd like to do, but all of them are too complicated for me to want to do it. Yeah, yesterday I actually was productive and successfully did a few things. Today, not the same. I might test some PRs though. That could be fun. We could try out some features that people have suggested. Let's go. Label enhancement. Small narrow rivers are also good fun. Should we go like super old or should we go something super new? Heavy release, welcome to the order, thanks for the follow. The coding guy, thanks for the follow, welcome to the order. I'm going to be saying that a lot today, aren't I? My local time right now is 3:48 PM. I've specifically blocked out the window because too much light comes in from behind me. Ananta Codes, thanks for the follow. What was your PR? 'Cause there's a lot of PRs. This one was merged. Which PR on which repository? Yes, go eat. Food is good. Also stay hydrated. I have my big mug. As you can see. Very big mug. Yes, tests would be good. I would love more tests. I do remember seeing that PR. What are they called? Unit tests. That did not return what I was looking for. None of this is giving me what I'm looking for. Lib OBS, yes. Thanks, Byte of Code. This is where GitHub search becomes very... Ah, perfect. Thank you. Oh, I'd opened it in the... I need to fix that. C-Films, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the order. Oh, yes, I do remember this PR. Why does this PR not show up if I click your name PR? Oh, now it shows up. Oh, you know why? Because I had... Is it because I had the enhancement label? No worries. Thanks for raiding once again. Enjoy food. Let's see. It does have some conflicts. Well, let's at least look at some of this code while you guys are here. Firstly, the best thing to do here is to learn my way around this little guy. So let's do some reading, shall we? Yeah, we don't care about features. How did I start? I started very little. I started with small things. So if we do a... Biniar? Welcome to the order. Thanks for the follow. Apologies for butchering names. It is very common on Twitch. If I do say it incorrectly, just correct me in chat. Mad Flash, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the order. If we go author, me, and then we go closed PR, and then we go the oldest we can go. My first PR was literally back in 2018, and that was the window capture list. It was showing internal apps. So in this case, all I did, there's a list of blacklisted apps, so we don't want it to capture stuff like Skype or Uplay or whatever it might be. And so I literally just added that. That's how I started. And from there, you kind of go, okay, now I'm a little more confident. Now I know where to look for when writing certain features. So you go, okay, what else can I work on? And in that particular situation, your best bet is going to the issues page and filtering by label, and then filtering by good first issue. And we have 8 open here at the moment of stuff like, what's a good example? Say you're good with Linux, right? You know your way around Linux. Thanks for the follow, Strager. Say you know your way around Linux, but you don't yet know your way around the OBS codebase. That's a cool name. Scott's Tots, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the order. I don't like that it's lowercased on my live tile. I will have to fix that because that is much better capitalized. So in this case, you'd go, okay, well, this is clearly an issue, right? Say you know how it's supposed to work. So now you go, okay, well, let's pull up the OBS codebase. We know that this is with v4l2, right? Because that is the Linux virtual, well, the Linux camera API, essentially, right? So then you would browse here going, okay, well, this particular file is no use to us. Byte of code, thanks for the follow. There you go, video for Linux 2. Dylan's on the ball. And a plugin, the basic version, Arth Vader, thanks for the follow, welcome to the order, great name too. This is the bare minimum that a plugin needs to work in OBS, right? It needs a load function, and it needs a name and a locale. And in this case, it sets up some stuff. And using this information, we can go, okay, well, we have v4l2 input. So this is 4 sources coming in, is it? What bug are we looking at? Identify GPUs. Okay, no, I'm looking at the wrong plugin. So this is for, not for v4l2, but this is actually Mr. Penguin Peak, thanks for the follow, welcome to the order. I have no idea if my alerts are real time. I'm using a whole new alert system today, and it's an experiment to see how quickly it can break. So actually, this is related to video encoding on Linux. So let's pull up Linux here. ENC. And let's launch OBS. We're going to go in here, and we're going to go settings. Stream? No, output. And instead of x264, can we go advanced here? Give me a little more to work with. VA API. So the issue is that this device name, dev-dry render D128, doesn't persist. So if you, for example, have multiple GPUs, like on a laptop, you'd want it to consistently use the right one. In this case, we're looking at VA API, not v4l2. So, VA API. So we know we have a file here called obsffmpeg VA API. And using this, because we're on Windows, everything's grayed out, which makes this a little harder. But we do know that we are looking at... let me quickly reconnect. And we know we're looking for VA API device. Card 0 specifically. So, what we're actually going to do here is we're going to go obsffmpeg / enus. Oh, that's not translated. Should that be translated? How many untranslated strings do we have here? So you can actually see this code path here does go, hey, look for render D1, whatever. Good question. Let's make this easy. Let's find out together. gonna add a video capture device. We are looking for the little camera icon. Whoops. I add video capture device. We rename this guy here and all of the fields here. And let's do the same. We also, let me relaunch this. In this case, we're looking at the encoder. So let me quickly pull up NVENC, which I'm quite sure we also translate there. If we go here, we go advanced, we go NVENC, then all these settings are translated as well. However, look ahead, PVT aren't, but that might just be the... Let's find out. Crowd in. Polish is 100% translated, that's good. So in this case, we're looking for FFmpeg, because that's where NVENC will be. We're looking for failed to open NVENC codec, that's errors. Max bitrate. There's look ahead. So no one has figured out the correct way to translate it to Polish. Okay, that's fine. We do have it in the system. So
All right. I'll tell you the truth.
alright, it's labeled as look hyphen ahead, but these docs are only in English. So there's no translation. Let's quickly try translating it. Not using that button. Anyway, that's a tangent. We will go back to Linux. And we will launch it in Polish. Yep. And we're going to go to settings, we're going to go to video, we're going to go here. So we do translate 3 of these strings. I wouldn't be surprised if profile and level are translated, just people couldn't come up with the right translation for it. That is a possibility. So that's fine. Task for later. I will add it to my to-do list. Translate VAPI device and VAPI codec in OBS effort.
I'll tell you the truth.
Some of them are long, yeah. This is basically like flow rate would be the best way to translate it. Recording sound. Recording history is the way this one is translated, which is sort of true for replay buffer. Why is cancel not translated? It should be translated. I'm quite sure it's translated on Windows. That's weird. Alright. Well, we've documented that this needs translation. In this case, yeah, I'm translating literally. The first word is recording, and then Povtorek, let's see. Because that's the way I'm translating it, but I guess hang on, let me you know what? If we go history from English to Polish. Yeah, okay, so actually it's more of a replay. Or playback. Yeah, okay, that's probably fine then. Yeah. That's the problem with Polish, it has a lot of words that all mean the same thing, and like, more than English does. Even though English has quite a few. Actually, repeat might be closer. Recording repeat. Yeah. Yeah, if we're gonna go literally, it's more like repeated recording or historic recording, I guess. I would say repeat is probably the closest word. Yeah, that sucks. I'm trying to... Yeah, okay, there we go. Now we can stick this in. Go Polish to English. Repetition. Okay, there you go. If you want to be literal, repetition. So it's recording repetition. Which is not quite... I guess if you combine it, it turns into recording replay. Learn something new. That becomes recording replay. I wouldn't call it spot on, but it's close enough to where most people will know what it means. I haven't bothered with VLC Nightly. Okay, let's switch this back to English. For the people who join aren't lost. Yeah, restart. So yes, that's, for those that asked, that's how I got into developing stuff for OBS. I just went, hey, what little things can I contribute? You basically look at something that you feel you can improve. And if I were to go for my most complicated PR, It's the one that got reverted. This one was repetitive but not complicated. Basically just defining the internal data for DLLs. This one got reverted. This was something I was considering working on today, but then remembered how complicated it is and how little I know the Windows API, and I didn't want to try and fight it again. Which is displaying monitor names in the display capture list, because in the projector list it does pull the names, but that's provided by Qt itself. Which these are still ordered differently than display capture is. Let me switch this back to English too, just so you guys can follow along. Yeah. Okay, these buttons are translated on Windows. Why not on Linux then? That's really strange. So let's delete this guy. If I add a display capture here. Let's do that. And then we're going to go display 3. See? Display 3 is this front one. Display 2 is my top one. Display 1 is my left one. I will actually delete that display capture. Just so I don't forget. So it doesn't reorder itself another time. Oh, see, it reset to the left one anyway. My mic is actually delayed, so let's... Alright, it starts minimized. Okay, we're back. Cool. Yeah, so I want to revisit that at some stage. Not today. This one I haven't fixed as well as I thought I did. Basically, when you drag windows, sometimes the meter shows as if it's maxed out, even though it's not. I can basically still do that. Not all the time, but like enough that it... Okay, I can't reproduce it now, because of course I can't. Demos never work. Just revisiting my own code. Because looking at this, over a year later, this is gibberish to me. So I need to re-explore some of the code I wrote. So anyone have any OBS questions while we're here playing around with little things and not actually working on a feature? Scott's Tots, yes and no. The general rule is that if you can look back at your code from, say, 6 months ago and see nothing wrong with it, then you haven't improved as a developer. But in the case of the code I just saw, I haven't actually used that kind of code in a while. Or written that kind of code in a while, so I didn't really recognize it, which is a whole different issue. But it's very easy to, in the moment, come up with a solution that, looking back on it, you're not 100% comfortable with it. But overall, yes. And I think that's just a matter of we're always growing, we're always learning different methods of solving problems. And that's why people refactor their apps all the time, right? Or rewrite functions just because. they're looking at their old code going, I now know 8 new ways to write this, and they're all better than that way I wrote it back then. And that's how you can get into a refactor loop, where you're just constantly going and rewriting your old functions rather than writing new ones. And it becomes boring like that, right? Because you're not writing anything new. You're just writing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, for like bigger, more complicated things where you know there's either a performance impact or a readability impact that is absolutely drastic in terms of if you can clean up this code, things will be better for everyone, not just you as the developer looking at the code going, ooh, that's gross, then sure, refactor it. But if it's just a matter of, I wrote that 6 months ago and I have a better way to write it, if you've got other things that you should be working on, work on those first. Because people love new features. There's a reason why there are always a lot of pull requests open for OBS. It could be improved in millions of ways. But at the end of the day, what improvements actually are worthwhile, worth spending, spending time on, worth maintaining, and then worth improving down the line, right? It's all a battle. And this is one thing that I've noticed both in working in OBS and working at a company where we have a product that we've now been maintaining for 4 years. Almost 4. It was started in June 2017, actually, so that is fair enough. The code that I have at work, I've refactored certain parts for various reasons. So my favorite element of it is what is called the filtering system. And basically, if we were to, let me just use EA Desktop as an example, right? It will take a moment to launch. My computer might freeze in the meantime, so be ready for that. Not a lot you can talk about when you've got a blank screen, huh? If you're designing a UI, at least add some loading icons. So if I'm browsing the EA store, you have these filters here. In this case, 2 drop-downs and a full-on window, right? In my case, at work, we had a filtering sidebar that could only have 1 filter active at a time. And so I eventually made it so that it could support multiple filters. And then we also needed a way to combine the keyword search with the filter system, and that required a bit of a rewrite because it wasn't really designed for that. And then we needed a way to save persistent filters so that a user can come back later and go, hey, I filtered I added these 6 filters in the past. I want to be able to just load that up again without having to worry about it. I want to bookmark it so that I can click this one to open this page with these filters and this one with these filters. So that required additional, changes. And so you end up in a situation where the code, even that first refactor that changed from one active filter at a time to multiple active filters at a time, even that refactored code is very different to the code it is now because I've had to make repeated tweaks to improve it. And then I reached a point where I realized, hey, React hooks are better than just standard React classes for this particular use case. So I'm going to refactor this part to use React hooks, because that'll simplify my code and make it more readable for someone, 2 years down the line when I'm not there, for example. So in that case, I refactored it as a way to make it maintainable long term, rather than I know my way around the code, so clearly it's fine, right? And you learn things as you make those changes, and you go, okay, well, let's improve it. And then let's keep it like that for a bit. And then if we need to improve it again, we will worry about that the next time a client requests an enhancement to it. We'll use that opportunity to make that aspect better, rather than revisiting it for the sake of revisiting. Especially if it's a component where you're interacting with it a lot. So in my case, the filtering API, the filtering UI really, is now super extensible in the sense that I now have a JSON section of different filters. They have a name, they have a list that they pull from for actual items within there. It has a type to determine whether it's a radio or a checkbox and stuff like that. And that makes it extensible so that if they request, hey, I want to be able to filter by this new thing, it's just add it to this new section, test it, and then push it out rather than having to spend a bunch of time making it work. That is a very tricky question. I just realized there's no music. So let me fix that first, and I will answer your question. In terms of knowing it's objectively better rather than feels better in this because you've refactored it, it comes down to, does it solve problems that you were running into before that those problems no longer exist? And in that sense, whenever you're refactoring, there is a goal behind it. Whether it's one that you realize is a goal that you set for yourself, whether it's a goal that you realized after you had made the changes, hey, that was the problem I was trying to solve. The coding guy, Wayland support in terms of the basics, which is rendering properly and capturing, that is available on Ubuntu 21.04 and any version of Linux that contains Pipewire 0.3. OBS 27 has that support, but you need to specifically launch it with a particular flag unless you use the Flatpak, which automatically sets the flag if you're running on Wayland. So if you want Wayland support in its early days, OBS 27 has it. There are limitations of Pipewire and Wayland that will be fixed down the line that you will run into when using OBS on Wayland. And that the big one for me, in my opinion, is Pipewire doesn't allow you to persist which window is being captured by which source. So if you have 5 window capture sources in your scene, the next time you launch OBS, you'll have 5 pop-ups saying, hey, which window do you want to capture? Because Pipewire doesn't have persistent anything. Yes, that I noticed that too. I don't know how to say your name. Dempsky? Yes, I noticed that as well, and I don't know why that is. But I am not an active Linux user, so I was just like, that's probably just something I'm doing wrong. My only guess is that Qt doesn't fully support Wayland, and so renders slower, maybe. I don't know. Yes. Titan also gets it. Aha! Good to know. I love that you have a clip lined up for that. But I think it's important for something like OBS to have Pipewire support this early on, so that it can help shape how useful Pipewire is going forward. Because Linux, you know, we're not going to have the year of the Linux desktop anymore. That is not a thing that's going to happen. People don't use their computers that way, unfortunately. And now with WSL2 and WSLG, which allows you to literally run Linux apps as Windows on Windows, running in a hypervisor, but basically with native performance. For me, as soon as WSLG is out for all users, I will have no reason to have Ubuntu installed other than for specific behavioral quirks with GPUs. And even then, might not, you know. So I'm just going to launch... actually, I'm going to rebuild... Yeah, I'm on master. I'm going to rebuild my macOS build. The other thing I was considering doing is looking through some of these warnings that were showing up on macOS. See whether they're worth fixing. But someone else can go through and do that. I don't have the patience. And when it comes to an app as complex as OBS, a lot of the issues you run into tend to be related to third parties. That makes sense. It might. I don't know Wayland well enough to know how that would affect things. At the very least, OBS... Let's do it over here. OBS cares about 3 things. The first is GPU usage, obviously. Primarily because of rendering. So if we pull up... actually, let's do this. This is my stats doc. No, actually, let's use the... Oh no. It won't do that. Here. Here's my stats window for my stream right now with you guys today. Right now I have 800, almost 800 frames missed due to rendering lag. That's my GPU doing stuff. This happens every time I launch OBS, a second instance of OBS. It happens when I open Task Manager, it completely dies. Got drop frames, in this case the network. I dropped a few near the start, it seems to be fine now. And encoding lag. This is for the actual encoder. If you're feeling like, for example, the UI is sluggish, one thing I would suggest trying to do first is hide the audio mixer. Because the audio mixer previously used to render at 30 FPS, and then in 26.1, I think, either 26 or 26.1, we changed it to render at 60 frames a second. And what we've noticed, at least on macOS, is it does raise GPU usage quite a bit. Which is unfortunate and frustrating. But that's due to a third party, and we don't have much control over that. So that would be the first thing I try. The second thing I'd try is try disabling a preview. Boom, like that. Right click, disable preview. Because that does lower rendering effort slightly. And then if you're recording and having issues specifically with recordings lagging out, make sure you're recording to a hard drive or an SSD, not a removable USB drive. Because those are slow enough that sometimes the encoder can actually get slowed down because of it, and it sucks. How's my Mac build going? Cool, just needs my password. Yes, they do. If you go to the OBS website, and you go to here, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook all fund it, as does anyone else below that umbrella. So if we go contribute, the biggest 3 are YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Then you've got API.video, Owned Pro, Single Music, I've never heard of, and then a number of smaller contributors, including Nerd or Die and Visuals by Impulse, and OBR Stream, a bunch of others. And the main thing for these big sponsors is more to fund active development. Because developers are expensive, time is expensive, and you want people who are actually skilled at what they do to be contributing to OBS. Especially because OBS is big enough and complex enough now that you don't want someone who doesn't know what they're doing to attempt to write code for it. At least not the bigger features, right? That's interesting. Yeah, I've seen weird lagginess with OBS Open. Well, other people have reported weird lagginess with OBS Open. I've seen it on macOS as well. Here's a fun one, right? You can see I have the dot for the VNC session and the actual cursor in macOS, right? Check out what happens when I delete this display capture source. Now there's no cursor. What is this? But if I do this and go display capture, and it's specifically tied to this guy right here. I have one cursor, I have two cursors. It's weird. The other weird thing is certain macOS versions display weirdness with spacing. Like there's a space missing here. And actually if I'm deleting a source... Why doesn't the delete hotkey work? My perspective on Wayland vs. X at the moment is Wayland doesn't feel like something that's ready to be used full-time. Not to say that X is stable or a good experience, but Wayland especially just feels not ready yet. And my Ubuntu setup at the moment is all 2004, because might as well be on LTS, right? Be supported for a little extra. That's fair enough. Trying to think of if there's anything that I could be tweaking on macOS, because macOS is the platform that is least maintained, purely because it has a lot of its own quirks that we don't want to, or don't have the knowledge of working around. Medemsky, thanks for the follow, welcome to the order. The Apple VT encoder is also a pain in the butt to work with, which is why we don't show it in simple mode. I fight Qt. I don't always get it to do what I need it to do. I also like how the apply button is all the way over here. Thanks, macOS. I can tell you right now, I will completely forget that. But yes, it's funny and fun to say, right? And that is the downside of lowercase names as well, right? When you have capitalization in a username, it's a little easier to figure out how to pronounce it because you get that word separation. When everything's lowercase, you just go, I'll guess. In the same way that no one knows how to pronounce my last name, and they try to, and still fail, which is fun. Right, the thing I was actually going to check here is, so if we look at, say, energy usage for OBS, right? Right now it's 23. say we add a microphone. Ah, the Mac Mini does not have a microphone. Oh, fine, we'll go desktop audio 2 channel. Yes, that's fine. So now OBS has gone up to 34. And we're going to play some music. I'm going to go with Alvin 5 How purely because of the capitalization. Thanks to the follow, welcome to the order. But if it wasn't for the uppercase H, I would be reading that as Alvin Show. Just putting that out there. But thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. EA ads. I do love ads. So now Edge is using 10. OBS is using 33. Now it's bumped to 43. So this is where the audio mixer comes in, right? This guy right here. Just moving the bars at 60 FPS bumps OBS to 40. If I hide this audio mixer, oh, but it's up at 50 now. And we give it a couple seconds to update this list. Now it's back down to 30. So, for those of you on Wayland, it could be as simple as hide the audio mixer. If I then hide the preview, we go from 30. Now, these are arbitrary numbers. I'm not saying, you know... There you go, that dropped to 17. And that's still with audio playing and with the video being... I mean, technically we could start a recording and that would also bump it. But now if I re-enable the audio mixer, we'll go back up 23, just because of me moving my mouse around it. 26. Yeah, sitting around 26 with the audio mixer. Then with a black preview, we're up to 31. 42. So combining preview with mixer, especially on macOS, but I would not be surprised if the same is the case on Wayland. Those two provide just enough action happening that you will notice that performance difference in other tasks. I love how slow Activity Monitor is. It's just as slow as Task Manager on Windows. Do I still have that window capture source? No, I don't. Cool. Yeah. OBS is at 40% CPU usage. Hide the audio mixer. Goes from 40. Come on. To 28. Boom. And that's the downside of trying to visually represent anything to a user. I had the same issue when I was writing a script for MC Edit. This guy, image to biome. It's a Python script for MC Edit that basically reads an image file and a mappings JSON file and then changes the biome for different blocks. The script itself in total is 116 lines, right? If I did not try and display a progress bar within MC Edit, the script would run in like 10 seconds. If I tried to render a progress bar, it would take 20 minutes. So this doesn't show a progress bar, because there is no reason it should have to take 20 minutes if it can take 10 seconds. Is that a great user experience? It's not great, but I log that it started and I log when it's finished, and that's enough. Sometimes the performance impact isn't worth it. Sometimes for something like OBS, it is, because you need that information. You need to know that your viewers can hear you, right? Yeah. That sounds right. And not surprising at all. And that's one of the, I guess, upsides to web development to some extent. Because a lot of that gets abstracted away to, in this case, your JavaScript engine, V8, that is as efficient as can be, and so you don't have to worry about it. Whereas if you're developing a mobile app or a desktop app directly, whatever UI library you're using, you are tied to the limitations of it. And you can't improve past that, but also writing your own might not work better, or it might work better, but adds a lot of maintenance to your day-to-day, right? So, let's test some PRs, because I feel like doing that. I did see a master mixer one, actually. So let's try that out. Master audio controls. We are going to... Where's my get quiet? There we go. On CG. CG Master Mixer. And we're just going to rebuild OBS. Uh-oh. It didn't like something. It yelled at me down here. So basically, when it comes to using OBS, having a way to know the mixed audio that's going out to your stream is useful. Whether it be a huge production where you have someone behind the scenes who's listening to the entire thing and wants to make sure that the audio, once mixed, does not overpower each other and that it doesn't combine into clipping. Or whether it's something you're streaming yourself and just want to make sure you're not hitting that red spot at the very top. Having a way to see that is useful. That's what this PR is designed to do. I'm going to assume this guy has only tested on Linux. Still adds 500 lines, which is fine. I thought we already had a thing called central layout. I'm just skimming the code while it builds. Also, for those who are interested in contributing to OBS but don't know how to code, the wiki is a great place to add documentation for stuff. I just realized I left that YouTube video playing on the Mac, so I'm gonna fix that. But also, testing pull requests. Making sure that features that people have submitted actually work and don't crash the program. Because the more people test that sort of thing, the less likely it'll crash for someone else. There are a number of PRs that, on initial submit, I tested them, and stuff immediately crashed, right? And so it had to go back to the developer to fix it. So the good news here is that we do have track 1 here. So the first thing we're going to do is we know that we can go in here and we can go to output, no, to audio, output, and advanced. We can go in here and we can rename our tracks. So let's try renaming the track. I think I found a bug. And just like that, I've found a bug in a feature that you would think there would not be many bugs to find. My phone just buzzed and I'm not sure why. Yes, that is... A lot of that is community-based. Depending on your platform, a lot of that is up to whoever originally wrote it, or whoever changed something that is relevant to the build instructions. So for example, when we added Wayland support, it was up to the people adding Wayland support to update the build instructions to reflect that, and to provide you with the relevant information. Yeah, this doesn't follow the named tracks at all. The other thing I'm going to have to check is... do I have any third-party incomplete DLLs? No. You know what? I should probably be uploading that screenshot in the dark theme. Just to avoid confusing people. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go to track... whoops. We're going to go to track 6. We're going to rename. And then we're going to go into settings. Output. audio. And then, so now we know that doesn't work. We're also going to switch to a master test profile. I should have dismissed the auto config wizard, but that's fine. Switching profiles didn't do anything, and switching scene collections did not work. Even though if we now go into audio, into output, go to advanced, they have new names. Cool. And finally, switching scene collections or profiles also does not update the names listed. And just like that, I found 3 bugs by using it for 2 seconds. Luckily, no crashes. Additionally, we're now in stereo. I wonder if we add my speakers and we add my stream mic. So even though we switch to stereo, this still has 5 tracks, and if I restart, this should switch to stereo. Cool, now that's back to stereo. I'd love to know why this is unnamed 00000. Do you have a reason for it? No, we don't. It just is. So that's that PR tested. What I don't like about this PR is this has not been tested. At all. Because he has an AMD GPU and added an NVENC blacklist. Unfortunately, my NUC does not have an NVIDIA GPU. So I can't test it either. I'll have to reboot into Ubuntu at some stage and test it. Make sure that it picks up that my GPU is supported. But just to make sure... What is this bug fix for? Big latency. So reported labels Linux. Not a complicated fix lengthwise, but actual readability-wise, this is gibberish to me. Okay, we're not touching that one. I'm probably going to end here soon. It has not been a productive day, but that's okay. I think the agreement here was that this is not a good solution. I mean, we use this settings change check in like every source. Probably for this reason. Virtual cam has a Flashback sandbox check. Root.Flashback info. Alright, I will actually be right back. Because I have not had a bathroom break in 3 hours. I need... Be right back. Alright, I'm back. We still good? Everyone's alive? Excellent. Yeah, no point in overcomplicating this. I don't have the technical know-how on testing this Mac OS PR. My cat is trying to figure out if she wants to get up or not. She has decided yes, I am climbing off the bed. And climbing into... no? Leaving the room, okay. It's like she knows I'm going to let her out. She just sits in front of the door quietly until I get up for her. Ooh, this one's a good one to test. Let's do this one. Toggle control buttons. This is what I considered doing yesterday for stream. This is the downside of testing PRs. It basically rebuilds the whole thing, especially if you're doing something in the UI, such as the main window, because it has to rebuild every single matched component. Do we call it the build waiting game or the building game? Alright, here we go. Oh, I can't right click to hide them. Would have been nice. Well, you see, there's a building game in Minecraft. Well, it's a competition of, you know, who can build a... You know what I mean. This is okay. I feel like a context menu would be useful. Because this means 0 discovery. Let's enable the replay buffer. Yeah, that. Exactly. Let's enable the replay buffer and see how things change. Controls, replay buffer. Cool. And if I have... I go show replay buffer, start replay buffer. Yeah, I don't have any sources. Right, that's right. Let's switch to blank. So I have started a replay buffer. Let's go to controls. Hide the replay buffer button. Then we're going to go up here. No, that's not the window I'm looking for. System tray, enable. And we're going to stop the replay buffer from here. Then we're going to go controls, show the replay buffer. That's good. And then we're going to actually do it the other way around. So, replay buffer is not running. We hide the replay buffer button. Then we start the replay buffer. And then we show the replay buffer button. Okay. Stays updated. That's fine by me. So we will start the record. Oh, actually, I don't have pause recording capabilities enabled. We can fix that. Let's switch to profile. Vanilla 26, sure. Also, hi, DJ Safta, how you doing? How's your week going? Replay buffer is allowed, recording is separate on NVENC, cool, recording. Then we're gonna hide the recording controls. I'm gonna stop the recording. Then we're gonna go and show the recording. Ooh. Yeah, doing alright. Took the week off work. Needed the mental break. And so now we're chilling here. Glad you're doing well. Alright. This PR does what it says on the tin. It hides the buttons. Cool. PR reviewed. Oh, I should test this one on macOS, but I'll do it another time. Basically, if we open our macOS thing here, close Activity Monitor and we launch OBS. You go to View, you have full screen interface, which does this, right? We've got a separate one called here, Enter Full Screen. macOS is weird. So yeah, I can confirm it's an issue. I'll test whether the PR fixes it later because it takes forever to build on macOS. Oh. Might be worth making sure it builds on Windows though. So let's test it on Windows, shall we? Alright. Doesn't crash on Windows. That's good. Alright, there's nothing else that I feel like working on today. I think we covered some good things. I apologize if today's stream hasn't been as informative or action-packed as you might have expected. Oh, because you changed the way... Less code is better. I'll have to test this. Should be fine. Possible that my mic just needed a restart. Should be back to normal now. This song's not very good. Alright, in that case, I am going to end it there. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to Stoga for the raid earlier. I will be sure to check your unit tests PR at some stage. I do have this page open. It's worth taking a look. And it's worth implementing, really. It's long overdue, and getting it merged in would be very helpful for everyone involved. So I don't have a stream plan for tomorrow, purely because Critical Role stuff tomorrow and the day after. So maybe a stream on Sunday? And if not, maybe one next weekend. We will see. Probably not during the week. So, see you guys next time. Bye-bye!